Hello, hello, hello. All right, so tomorrow we've got day two of the, I can never remember the bloody name of it, the reset, refresh thing. But today I wanted to come on and have a bit of a word with you, give you a bit of a pep talk, I think. It's about asking you the question about where you're at the start of the year. I know we're only a week in, we're exactly 1 week into a new decade, or 1 week into 2020. And I just want to ask you, what are you doing differently? Because we know that if we want to achieve something different, we have to do things differently, we have to think differently, we have to behave differently, all those different sorts of things. So I want to know what you're doing differently, and if you're falling back into the old habits and patterns, and not just inside your business, but in things outside of your business as well, all of the areas that are going to support you in having the success that you want in 2020. So for me, I've been back into following an awesome program. It's called 3 Weeks to Shredded, and it's a program written by, or it's a program run by a guy called Mike Dolce, and and the Dolce Diet. So he's a guy from the US who basically helps fighters cut weight and still have a lot of energy to train and all the rest of it. And I've done his stuff before, and it's really good. It really works for me. I've been basically, I can't get all of the food in every day, and I'm dropping weight every day. So following that and just being disciplined about that, enjoying my training, and all of the other things that I know that I need to do that are going to support me, because I've got a massive year coming up. As you know, I'm going to be writing all those books. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming up or that I'm in the thick of now. And I guess I want to share with you one of the habits that I tended to get into over the last few years. And because things are pretty comfortable, I don't ever really feel like there's a huge sense of urgency. And so it kind of meant that I didn't feel the need to really push and hustle that much. And so that, I think, affected my energy and the way that I was showing up, because everything felt pretty cruisy. And I know that I feel best and I feel most on fire when I'm fired up and when I'm busy and, got my hustle on and all that sort of stuff. And so one of the things that I'm doing differently this year is, instead of saying, oh, it's all right, it can wait another week, it's just the start of the year, it's like I am nailing every deadline that I've given myself. And I'm just reminding myself that when I go to drop the ball or negotiate with myself or anything like that, I'm just reminding myself that, if you do that, it's a slippery slope. So I'm just reminding myself that you can make this decision if you want to not do the thing or bump it back a week or whatever it is. But if you do that, know that it's a slippery slope, and January will turn to February, and February will turn to March, and March will turn to April, and then we'll be at the end of 2020, right? And we'll be sitting there going, why the fuck didn't I get that stuff done? Why wasn't I working harder? Why wasn't I working faster? And all that sort of stuff. So I want to just remind you to catch yourself when you start negotiating with yourself. Hey, Joe, I want to remind you, to catch yourself when you start negotiating with yourself, when you start to fall into those old patterns, when you start to delay things, when you start to say, you know what, I said I was going to do it this way, but I'm just going to do it the way that I used to do it because it's faster or easier or whatever it is. And just a reminder to really challenge yourself on that stuff, and challenge yourself now. Don't wait 6 months to get 6 months into the year and have a repeat performance of 2019, 2018, 2017, however many years you've been repeating that stuff. So just really dig in, be committed to doing the things that you said that you were going to do, and follow through. We don't want to be those people that, not that we're setting New Year's resolutions or anything like that, but I always love a new year. New decade's been even better because we get to start with a clean slate mentally, right? And so for me, I love that reset. I love the ability to be able to just go, okay, clean slate, now what? Like, what do I want this to be about? And we don't want to be the sort of people who set those really strong intentions and set our goals and set our vision and all the rest of it, and then sit on our hands and procrastinate and wait or think it's not urgent because it's the start of the year. We're a week in. You know, before you know it, we're going to be at the end of January. So my question to you, my challenge to you is, what did you say that you were going to do differently? Where did you say you were going to be at the end of January? And are you on track? If you're not, what do you need to do to get yourself caught up? I'm trying to think if I've dropped the ball anywhere. I haven't. I've kind of really stayed on task. And as I said, for me, it's because I have that little, you know, thing sitting on my shoulder saying, if you drop the ball now, it's a slippery slope. And I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there next month going, shit, I should have done that stuff in January like I said I was going to do it. I don't want to be there. Whether it's, you know, with my training, whether it's with my nutrition, whether it's with my business, whether it's with my book writing, any of those things. And so do yourself, you know, that honor of just honoring the stuff that you set for yourself and being like a dog with a bone with it. Don't let it go. Don't let it slip away because, you know, things haven't quite gone the way you planned or you just couldn't be asked or whatever it is. Like, get on it and make sure that you just stay on it. January is a pivotal month. This is the month that you need to make things happen, to set yourself up. You don't want to go into February feeling like you're behind the 8 ball. So just really push in January and make things happen. All right, so that's my little pep talk for January, because I know by now a lot of people have taken their foot off the pedal or they haven't started yet because it's like, you know, it's you know, it's still the start of the month, whatever, right? So you just got to get on that. And the other thing that I want to talk to you about being prepared for in 2020 is when it comes to online marketing and it comes to lead generation and it comes to, basically getting clients into your coaching business and filling your programs and things like that. It's going to cost more than it ever has. It's going to be more difficult than it ever has. It's going to take longer than it ever has. It's going to be harder. And so that's not me coming in here and being negative. What I want you to do is be super friggin' prepared and know, yay, good on you, Victoria. And so what I want to remind you of, what I want to say to you is, don't be disillusioned by that. I want you to be mentally prepared. I want you to know that it's going to take longer, it's going to cost more, all those different things, right? It's going to be just so much more difficult. Not because I want you to go into it going, this is not going to work for me. Don't undershoot, right? You know, Grant Cardone, I love and hate because he's a bit over the top and like intense and all the rest of it. But one of the things that I love that he says is what does he say? He basically is like 10x every expectation. So if you've got a goal for, well, the first thing that he says is, if you've got a goal for $100,000 a year, then shoot for $1 million. Why not? It's not going to make any difference. Like, shoot higher. And then he basically talks about the fact that when we 10x everything else, 10x the fact that it's going to take you 10 times longer, it's going to cost you 10 times more than you thought. You're going to have 10 times more, you know, shit fights go on along the way than you expected and all those sorts of things. And it's true, right? Things do take a lot longer, cost more, blah, blah, blah. You can be lucky and that's great, but we don't want our strategy to be luck. We want our strategy to be, you know, well thought out. And so the reason that I'm saying that is be prepared, right? Be prepared and be committed to being the last woman or man standing. You know, that's the thing that I love about myself, that I don't quit and I'm always going to be the last one standing. And there's a quote by Muhammad Ali, and I'm not saying it correctly probably, but he basically talks about in training. So for example, if he's doing sit-ups and he gets to 200 and it starts to hurt, he's like, now I start to count because this is when it counts. And I feel the same, right? It's like, I do that with my training and I do that with everything else. When things get really fucking hard and things are more expensive, taking longer, all those sorts of things, I just remind myself, this is when everybody else quits. This is when it starts. This is when I actually get to find out what I'm made of. This is when I get to push when everybody else would fold. And so use that to drive you. Really use it. Thanks, Joe. use it to drive you. Don't use it to disempower you or make you feel bad or get into lack mentality. You've got to get rid of that. Like, lack mentality is so fucking 2019. We're just not doing that anymore. It's like, there is enough, there is always enough, there is always enough, I can create more. That's the mindset that you have to be in 2020. And so when I'm talking about being prepared, what I'm saying is you can't now half-ass your marketing campaign. So if you're not 100% happy with your lead magnet, if you haven't tested it on a market, if you haven't got feedback and people are like, yeah, we really love this, it's great, then don't spend money on it. You know, make sure that you've tested it rigorously. Make sure that it feels really good to you. Make sure that, you know, there's no bad juju energy going on around the thing that you're releasing into the world and about to invest money in. Feel good about it. Do whatever you need to do to feel good about it. So for example, that might mean, you know, you've got your landing page up, and the landing page is actually, I'm going to share one of my clients' landing pages. She is nailing it for her lead magnet. And do the course, like sign up for the thing, because it's bloody awesome. All right, sorry, bear with me for a sec. I will get back to that comment. Yeah, but we've got to be a lot more professional. We've got to feel right about it. So I guess what I was saying about Melody's lead magnet is, and one of the things that I love about Melody, she's in my mentorship program, and she's in, you know, she's been working with me for a little while now. Here it is. I'm just looking at it and thinking, I think I might get her to change the link title because I think it could be sexier. But anyway, so Melody is a law of attraction coach. And so we came up with the concept of a 5-day manifesting boot camp. So she did that. And then we've utilized that content to create her opt-in. Now, when I first saw her, I'm just going to open it up. When I first saw her landing page, her opt-in page, it was pretty freaking ugly. It's taken her a little while to get her design element down because, and yeah, even I think it needs a bit of tweaking. It looked better when I last saw it. But anyway, and I'll go back with her. I'm just starting coaching again with my mentors this week. Mentoring. So I'll go back and I'll tweak that. It needs a few more images and things like that. But anyway, my point is, about a month ago, Melody first came up with this, and the design wasn't great and all of the rest of it. And I gave her some feedback, and she went and persevered. And then when you opt into it, wait until you see the landing page. I helped her to design the page and the concept of how it was all going to be laid out, the workbooks and things like that. She's nailed it. It's amazing. So once we've done a few more tweaks to that landing page, I think it just needs to be broken up, and we need a bit more imagery in there. It's just, I'll reply to you, Victoria, but it's there. It's just in the comments. There you go. It'll be good to go. It's great content. I've been through and had a look. It's a little bit longer than normally, you know, you would go for with a lead magnet, because, you know, people usually like shorter stuff, but the nature of her teaching and the way that she teaches, this is who she is, right? And we know, and she's prepared to invest a bit in the, you know, the lead magnets, and we know by the time they get to the end of it, they're going to be feeling, you know, really ready to work with her. And so, or the right people, anyway, the right people will be. And so this has not been an overnight thing. This has taken quite a bit of time, and, you know, backwards and forwards to get it to where it's at now. But I'm not going to let her release anything until we, you know, start to spend money on this, until we've done other things. So I've got her, you know, she's shared it inside the mentorship program. So there's 8 coaches in there. So they're all going through it and having a look at it. She's got some her own group and people like that. So we're going to be testing it on a market without investing any money to begin with, and seeing what that conversions rate is like, and seeing how people are responding to it, all those sorts of things. And then we're going to start investing in it. So we don't want to be pulling the trigger too early. we want to go with where our energy is. It's really a fine line, actually. It's quite an art of, we want to go where our energy is and we want to get things out reasonably quickly, but we can't fuck it up because it's going to be more expensive than ever to do this sort of thing and get a result. So we just really got to go through things with a fine-tooth comb and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, just be prepared that it is going to be harder, more expensive, all those sorts of things. A friend of mine, a lady that I used to work with, wrote a post the other day, and she was talking a lot about this. She's a digital marketer, and she was talking about the days when on Facebook we used to say, hey, can you like this post? And you'd have like 100 people like it, or 500 people like, hey, can you share this thing? Hey, and everybody did, right? Because it wasn't flooded like it is now. And it was just so easy. It's like, if you wanted to fill an event, if you wanted to sell something, you just threw a little bit of money at the Facebook gods and away it went, and it was cheap and amazing. And even when people, they started, with the paid stuff, and people were like, oh my God, you've got to pay for this stuff. While people were whinging, we were like, what's the strategy we're going to be using here? And that's the thing, the people that got in there and hung in there, and we're still here, right? And a lot of people aren't. And so one of the comments that I made on Louise's post was, we have to forget about the good old days. Like, they're done. We can't be sitting there and going, oh, I wish it was like it used to be, because it's not. It's not like it used to be. It's more difficult than it ever was. But I don't know about you, but I'd back myself to get it right. I'd back myself to persevere and do what it takes and all those sorts of things to get the result that I want. And it's like, I will figure it out. I know I'll figure it out. And you need to back yourself to be able to figure it out as well. And you might not be able to figure it out on your own, and that's okay. That's why there are coaches. That's why there are digital marketing geniuses out there, or whoever it is that you need to help you to, achieve the thing that you need to achieve. Don't, maybe another focus that you need to have for 2020 is, don't try to do this shit on your own. Don't try to get all of the moving parts and try to make everything happen on your own if you don't know what you're doing. It's just going to be a long way there. So the shortcut is to invest the money, get some help wherever it is, whether it's either with a coach or strategist like myself, or whether it's a digital marketer that, because you've got everything that you need, and now you just need someone to, do your ads and create, the marketing strategy around that, the paid marketing strategy around that stuff. But this year, think in an elevated way. Don't be thinking, I can't remember the last time I thought I can't afford that. Even if it was something that was out of my budget at the time, I'm never going to say the words to myself, I can't afford that. I'm always going to say, I have different priorities right now, because I don't want to be the person that says I can't afford that. I don't want to be the person that feels like they're in a space of lack, right? It's abundance thinking all the way. And it's like, okay, if I need this coach and the coach is going to cost me $5,000, I need to find that money, because I know that if I invest $5,000, that's going to move me closer to where I need to be, because I'm going to get a return on investment, because I back myself to get the return on investment, or whatever it is, right? You have to be of a really abundance, expanded mindset to achieve big stuff. Never has it been more important to be thinking more expanded, because the little bitsy pieces, half-assing it, trying to do it really, really cheap and on your own, they are going to be the people that fall away. The people that are like, well, you know what? I know this is a thing. I'm going to make a success of this thing. I know it's just a matter of time, or I just need the right help, or I just need the right strategy, or whatever. You want to be that person. You want to be the person that just does what it takes, invests what they need to. And let's be honest, right? Most of us are solopreneurs. So most of us work from home offices in my community anyway. So, or, might do a little bit of work at a co-working space or whatever it is. But essentially, like, what are our overheads? They're not huge. So what are we investing in? We need to be investing in ourselves. We need to be investing in what it takes for us to become more savvy entrepreneurs, and we need to invest in people who can do the things that we're not great at, Facebook ads or design or whatever it is. That's where we need to be. That's the sort of thinking that we need to be doing. We don't want to be in that, I'm just going to do it myself, or if you're not good at it. Like, if you're great at it, And Melody, whose lead magnet you're looking at, now that I've developed some templates for her design and she's been playing at it for a little while, she's really good at it. She's getting really, really good at it. So she can do that stuff. But in the beginning, I was like, you have to outsource this stuff because you're really not great at it. And she would laugh, you know, she'd send me stuff and I'm like, why are we using this color and why are we not using that font? I've given you the goddamn font and I've given you the color codes. Like, so why are we using green or whatever? And she's like, oh, sorry. And it's like, okay, how many times do I need to tell you that we don't use anything but these colors? And she's like, oh, Lord, I keep forgetting. And I'm like, you're killing me. But she's got it there now, right? But if you're in that space where you're not good at that stuff and you don't have somebody there telling you don't do it like that, then you've got to invest in it, because you're not going to get cut through. You're not going to have the level of success that you want unless you take it fucking seriously and get the help that you need. So no more like thinking. We're not thinking anymore about I can't afford that. We're not thinking anymore about that's not for me. Only, you know, only rich coaches get to do that sort of stuff. We are now thinking all the time, I need this thing. I will find a way to make that happen. We are now thinking in abundance. We are now thinking in an expanded way, and we've got to get rid of the shitty, like low-level thinking, because that is just going to keep you stuck. You're just not going to be able to go the whole way in 2020 without it. So get serious about it, invest where you need to invest, and, you know, do the things that you need to do to be able to take things to that next level. Get the help if you need it, whatever it is, right? Anyway, I'm glad I came on today. I've been training and I went and had my hair lift, which is good, but it always feels tight when they do the extension lift. But I wasn't going to come on because I always look like I've just worked out and all that sort of stuff. And I wasn't sure I had much to say, but look at that. It turns out I had a lot to say today. Yeah, so I hope that was helpful. Let me know your thoughts. But as I say, use that information to drive you, not to make you shrink. Use it to push against, like in a good way. Use it to push off. I mean, not push against. You know what I mean? Push off of. You know what I'm trying to say? So just be sure that you're like, okay, fuck, it's going to be harder, it's going to be more expensive, it's going to be all those things. I'm prepared for that. But it means that before I pull the trigger on anything, I just really want to be a little bit more prepared and a little bit more sure before I just go wasting money. Because, you know, when you are in that startup phase, or when there's not a lot of money to throw around, you've got to make sure every cent counts, right? And you want to make sure that you put yourself in the best possible position to get a result. There's never any guarantees in the online world. That's just the way that it is. But what you can do is just know for yourself that, yep, this feels really, really good. Go for it. You've got to start somewhere, but then be prepared to tweak and do what you need to do to keep going. All right, guys, that's it. I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the boot camp, and I hope to see you on the call live. Bye.